Welcome back to Axio Social, where we help you grow your church one visitor at a time. My name is John, and today we are in a series of videos breaking down the different communication channels available to your church, what they're good at, what they're not so good at, and then some recommendations on how you can use them as part of your overall communication strategy. Today we're talking about apps, Android apps, iPhone apps. These are the hot ticket item, the thing that you probably have pastors bugging you about. We should get an app. It's a really great idea, right? Well, maybe we're going to find out. Today we're breaking down what they're good at, what they're not so good at, and then how I would recommend that you use them. Let's start off with the pros. And the first pro is that usually they've got flexible design options, which means that you are in a little bit of control over how you want to use it. So if you've got a different strategy or a different thing that you're hoping to accomplish with your app versus the church down the street, for the most part, you can accomplish that because you're in somewhat control over what gets displayed, how it gets displayed, what is the information that you want to be putting into the app. You've got quite a bit of flexibility there. The second pro is perfect call to action. Whatever it is that you're hoping someone does after they visit your app, you can put a button there because you can put in buttons, you can put in links just like your website, whether it's signing up for a class, donating, whatever it might be, whatever action you're hoping someone takes, the app does it pretty much perfectly because you can put it right there on the page with a big button. It says, click here to do whatever it is that you were hoping that they did, whether it's signing up for a class, donating, doesn't matter what it is. Call to actions inside of the apps are fantastic. The final pro for our apps is that they're self-service, which means they are available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Your church doesn't need to be open for people to utilize these tools, which means if they would like to sign up for a small group on Thursday morning at 2 a.m., awesome, use the app, you can do that. They're not having to call someone in the church office to do whatever it is they're trying to do. The self-service nature of the apps is actually really powerful. All right, let's switch gears and talk about some of the cons of mobile apps. And the first one is this: there is a very high barrier to entry. What do I mean by that? Is that you have to take a lot of steps in order to get that app on your phone. Sometimes you're creating login information or accounts first before you can even access the information there. You've got to remember your Google Play password or your iTunes password. If you've ever helped maybe an elderly parent do this, you understand what I'm talking about. Sometimes people will go through all of those steps and it's not that big of a deal, but some members of your congregation are going to have a hard time going through the steps to get the app and then to navigate inside of the app. There's a pretty high barrier to entry for people to be able to take advantage of this type of communication channel. The second con is that this is internal only. Pretty much no one that doesn't go to your church is going to download this app. This is not a pathway to your church growing or anything like that. This is a tool to communicate and interact with people that are already part of your church congregation. Now, that's okay. We've got other kind of communication channels we can use for external communication. You just really have to remember that in the overall strategy you're creating, that the app is for the people that already go to your church. Our final con is that they can be expensive. Now, there's a handful of ways that you can go about getting an app, but if you want your own app, you want a custom app, then you're going to need to spend some dollars to accomplish this. There's several platforms to consider that can help you with that. PushPay has one. Subsplash is a really great one that I personally really like that you should consider. But no matter how you do this, to get an app, most of the time you're going to need to spend some money to accomplish it. So we've talked about what they're good at. We've talked about what they're not so good at. So how would I recommend that you use mobile apps as part of the communication strategy for your church? I think your mobile app, if you have one, should be your primary way, your primary tool for internal communication inside of your church. It should host your calendar. It should be the perfect way for people to sign up for whatever it is that you need them to sign up for. If you are consistent with this, your congregation, your members are going to learn that it really doesn't matter what it is when it comes time to sign up for fill in the blank. They're going to know the app is the place to do that. The reason that I like this so much is because if you get that internal communication stuff figured out, you've got your, newsletter, rocking. and signups are really happening inside of the app, that can take a lot of the pressure off of your website. That can take a lot of pressure off of social media. Some of these other platforms that would be better used to reach outside of your church, the internal communication can really live inside the app. Now, you've got to be consistent with this over and over and over again. If every time you do a different event or a different sign up for classes or whatever it might be, the sign up is happening at a different platform or a different place with a different link, people aren't going to learn. But if you do it the same way over and over and over again and consistently have signups are inside the app, then it can be a really powerful tool. Another thing you should consider using the app for is to host the calendar of events for your church. Especially if you've got a lot of stuff going on, putting all of those events on your website can be messy. The apps can usually do a little bit better job of organizing that information and putting it in a spot where it's okay if it gets a little bit messy inside your app. Since it's not open to the public, since people that are seeing this are already part of your church, it's okay for it to get a little bit more cluttered versus we want our website to be super sleek, super clean, and really set up for new visitors to be able to navigate very quickly. But I want to know what you think. Do you have a unique way that you use an app at your church? Is there something that I didn't cover in my pros and cons list? Let me know in the comments down below. That's it for today's video. I hope that you enjoy it. Now, remember, this is just one video in a series of videos where I'm breaking down all of the different communication channels available to your church. Make sure and go check those out. I'm going to put links to them down in the description below. Make sure and hit that subscribe button, hit that like button if you've not done so already. If you would like to learn more about Axio Social, the services that we offer, how we can help you grow your church, there'll be links to our website down in the description below. Check that out. But that's it for today's video. I hope that you enjoyed it, and we will see you next time.